Alright guys, working on the 9700 here again today. You can see Dad's got the auger he's working on here. Got the old one cut off and got the first ring welded on the first one here. Normally when he does this, he'll reflights an auger, he'll leave part of the other auger so that he can lay it on there, because normally they don't fit real good. They're not a real exact fit to what the original is. So, and he started putting it on and it was taking so long, and he said to heck with it and he cut the old one off, and the new one actually fits on there pretty good, and it's pretty tight around here too, so I think it's gonna be alright. He's gonna just do that. I'm getting ready, well, to show you the list of stuff we gotta do. Once we get this done, we'll only have another couple days getting ready for harvest with stuff. Well, it'll probably take us another week at the most once we get this machine done, because it was mainly just servicing stuff. But 9700 2016, we got sieves, vertical unloading auger, reflight it, some concave adjustment in the ratchet handle there, and then just some other bunch of stuff here. Got an independent cab kit. I got to turn the knives on the chopper because it wore the sharpness off one side, and we'll turn them around and it'll get another couple of years out of them. But so that's what I'm gonna do right now. These things come out from the factory. They just have these 4 3/8 bolts kind of just squished themselves right here to hold it on, and of course that was just a joke the way they've done that. So someone else, before we got the machine, went in and added these angle clips, because otherwise it'd lose the chopper off the back of the machine. It'd just vibrate right on and off. But someone else who had this machine before us put these clips on here, and it's a good thing they did, because that was the only way it was ever worth anything. Other than that, it's a pretty good chopper. Already got the other side off, so get a wrench here and bust jam it, and I'll just put a extension on here. I always take the chopper off to do corn anyways. We don't do much corn, we probably do 20 acres a year with it. But we enter a high yield corn contest every year, and it's and we have placed in the top 3 in Illinois before, and so every time you do that, they you actually get your name put in the Farm Journal puts out a publication of it, and you get your name in there, and they always put the planter that was used and the combine that was used. And it's pretty cool to have a 9700 zone white combine out of the 500 entries that are in there. It's the only white combine that's in there, so always like doing that. I've had it in there 2 or 3 times, I think. Because, you know, it's always guys having like a 9770 Deere or something like that. So what all the machines normally are, but every now and then you might see like a 14 series International. Rarely, but not really anymore. Mainly 16 series, about the oldest you see in it, and then you got the old white there. Alrighty guys, got the chopper off here. Not too bad to get off. Whew. You just gotta line up. There's a flat spot right here. You can see you gotta line that up as it comes out. And then there's this piece here. Loosen these bolts. There's 6 of them. That drops down against the chopper. You gotta loosen them bolts to shove that up, but it ain't too bad. You can see a sharp edge there, and this side's been wearing on. It's kind of rounded off. So we'll get to turning all these knives around 180 degrees. Alright, we're going to turn these knives. They 3/8 impact because I got to run a swivel on it. Wouldn't break it loose, so I'm going to use the 1/2 inch. I bet the swivels cut down 75% of the torque an impact makes, just because they got so much slop in them that it really cuts it down, especially when you're on a tight angle like this. But at least I can get an impact on it. So I'm going through and turning them, putting the nuts back on. I got this first one done, tightened up and everything. Then I'll come back with 3/8 and just tighten them up. Got a bushing in them. You just flip them around here so that the rounded side is away from what's cutting. If you guys ever do this on an IH machine or an older, well, I say older, but like a 2188, everything before, I'm not sure on the smaller ones, like a 71, like a, yeah, like a 7140 or a 6140, even the late model ones, I'm not sure if they got a chopper in the back like this, or if the chopper's still right behind the rotor. But if they're one right behind the rotor, I'm not sure about how long those knives last. We put new knives on the chopper when we changed that, unless I can't remember. Maybe we have been in there and replaced knives. But the funny part is these choppers turn about 3,000 RPM, and you're supposed to keep these things. You take them out, you make sure the knife goes back in the same spot that it came out of, because otherwise it just gets, or it'll be out of balance. When you buy them, they're a match set of 3, here, here, and here, and that keeps them, and that way they're all balanced with each other when it's spinning. But for some reason, like I lost a knife several years ago on this, bolt broke, or actually it pulled the split the back of the knife open, threw it out the back. Man, it was a god awful vibration it had going. I shut her down real quick and found the problem, but we've lost knives on that machine before, and you never even know what happens. I don't know what makes a difference, these getting out of balance versus the other ones. Dropping everything. We also got to put a transmission in this combine. 2009, which we'll get out of our parts machine in the pasture. So we've got another transmission. It's not a big deal, and it's pretty. Looks like it's gonna be pretty easy to change. But anyway, in 2009, it was a real wet year around here. 2009, losing my train of thought. 2009 is a real wet year around here, and we plowed a lot of mud that year. Had rice tires and four-wheel drives on, and we got the rice tires on also. Crap, I put that back the way it was. But anyway, they after we got done that year, when you go on the road with it, you can take it down the road. They you could hear this ticking noise. It's like a tick, 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 but then it didn't ever get worse. It was just there, and it wasn't real loud or sound nasty or anything. You could just hear it. and never got worse. So this year we finally decided we're doing a bunch of other work here. We might as well do this too while we got it in the shop. I took the top cover off the transmission yesterday, and found out on the ring gear on the differential there's a hard facing is flaking off the teeth on the differential on several teeth. So we got to switch transmissions out. Since we got a used one, we're just going to put it in there. Then if we ever need it, we can always find a ring gear for this transmission. But it's not really, they call it bowl gear because that's really what it is, like in the back of a tractor. Because it's not a helix cut like in a differential. It's just two straight intermeshing teeth like that, from the counter shaft in the transmission to the differential. So yeah, I suppose if it was a spiral cut like in a differential, it probably wouldn't have run this long. But since it's just a helix cut, and if it was and we wouldn't have been so worried about it if it was a helix. I got that mixed up. Spiral cuts is in the differential. Helix cut, which is just where they're cut on an angle, the teeth. So it pulls on more than one tooth at once, but on here it's just a straight cut, and if we get into another wet fall, it'd probably ruin it pretty quick. So we figured we'd better go ahead and change it out since we had it. But I'll probably do a video on that and maybe getting the one out of the combine in the pasture up there at Grandpa's place. Already got the first row turned, just tightening these up here. One more. There we go. Here's the first row done. Get the next one whipped out and see what I want to start on next. Alright, we're putting the Dad's grinding on that auger. But I am taking these pieces here out, because we got some new ones of these are $250 or something like that from Agco, and we got these made up, or we got new pieces sheared up for $225, and we got to bend them and punch holes in them. But we're gonna save like $600, and it costs us like half day of work, but it's $600. So. But the reason this isn't that big of a deal, this bend, it's what it does. In 2010, we ran a rock through this machine, and this piece, you can see, is kind of tapered down, and I think this piece had gotten, over the years, bowed down enough and wore enough that it let it rock on by, and it got up in the rotor and did a bunch of damage. We had to pull the rotor out of it and do a ton of work. So we've also had where this will get bent, and it'll throw crop up differently. And the front of the rotor is flat, and it'll actually get stuck in between the rotor and the front frame or whatever, and it gets stuck in there, the gap about like that, and it gets stuff wedged up in there, and it'll start a fire, actually start smoldering. And see, you always know it, but luckily we've got an access hole under this shield here where you can get into it, and you can actually take this rotor and unbolt it and slide it back about an inch to let stuff drop out, which is kind of nice. But that's how we knew this got bent last year, was because it was doing that again. It was throwing stuff up in there, up in the rotor to really, and making it start to smolder. But so we got to go in and normally it should hit the rock down, but I don't know, we might weld another piece in here to make that a little flatter so that it doesn't let rocks by so bad, because it can get, it's pretty nasty. You hear a rock going, 99% of the time the rock trap will catch it. So but so I'll put some new bolts in here. We don't got a lot of rocks in this area, but what we do have, they are laying up on top of the ground, and it does get kind of nasty. I'll come back to you here in a minute. I already got these off. See, I've been here, put silicone on them, added silicone these on to keep dust out, because keep them balanced and whatnot, or keep dust out, because you keep dust out, if dust gets in there it can mound up and then it gets out of balance. So I think this thing turns about 680 RPM or something like that. Excuse me. Yeah, hold on. Sorry about that. Got sidetracked. If dust gets in there, it'll mound up and it'll make a it'll get out of balance, and you don't want that happening. Cause vibration and everything else, but these are just splined on there with a key. Not splined, just keyed on there. But you can see up in here is where bean stems, it'll toss stuff and it gets stuck up as it comes around up in here and gets stuck. Right in between there is where the residue will get in there on the top side and start smoldering. So we've got an access hole to get through. Last year this happened toward the beginning of bean cutting, and to get through we actually went in and welded about a little inch piece of 1/4 inch key stock on the rotor here, one on each side, and acted as kind of a disruptor, and it actually kept stuff moving on around then. They did a pretty good job of it too. We only had to blow it out about once a day, and if we caught it before it got too packed in there, you don't have to slide the rotor back. So we got, I checked it probably twice a day and blew it out, and it took 15 minutes and did that, and it got us through anyway. But get that on there, it'll be alright. It won't have a problem then getting stuff stuck up in there. But anyway, I think that'll do it here. Rambled on long enough. Anyway, thanks for watching.